Hey, good evening. Bill Keneely in the Weather Channel Forecast Center. And while it may not be one for the ages, this snowstorm will have to be reckoned with for several days, I think, from Washington right up into Boston. Snow now picking up in Boston and snowing in earnest around the New York City area. Let's show you the satellite picture, see what's going on. We have watched low pressure tracking across Kentucky all day today. Now it's passed the baton. The other low taking shape off of Virginia Beach, Virginia. You can see in the color enhanced picture, this is actually the orange shaded area. These are higher clouds and they correlate with areas of heavier rainfall over the Gulf Stream, and that is where this low is feasting and grabbing that moisture and flinging it back with that northeast wind across New York. Heavy snow falling in the city at the rate of 1 inch per hour. Boston, it took a while. Now it's snowing quite heavily in the western suburbs. Philadelphia, some good news. Looks like we'll start getting some breaks in that steady snow. And Washington, I think we dodged a bullet. Snowfall could be about 1 inch in town, but there is a lot of ice, I think, north of Washington and especially in the Baltimore area. Again, around New York City, the snow is falling heavily now, but earlier today, as we had our morning commute, it was not too bad. Folks kind of took it in stride.
It was awful.
Where are you coming from?
We're coming from Brooklyn.
We're in Brooklyn.
Canarsie, Brooklyn.
Any thought of using the subway today?
No, I don't like the subway.
How do you prepare for today?
How did I prepare? Got up early, got my boots on, and here I am.
The city is expected to receive as much as a foot of snow overnight, which will mean more commute problems, you know it, come Wednesday, and probably in a Wednesday night, as the cold air is going to stick around a while. Once again, the Cleveland area hit very hard as well. Locally, a foot of snow has fallen in Cleveland. Still have a blizzard warning. That may be canceled within the hour, but still a lot of snow and a lot of blowing snow. The wind off of Lake Erie. Just a harrowing morning and a harrowing evening rush hour in Cleveland. You're the big winner so far with a foot of snow. There's Indianapolis at 8 inches, Fort Wayne 6, St. Louis 5 inches falling in about a 7-hour period. New York now, LaGuardia up to about 5 inches, Newark at 4, and Bridgeport, Connecticut at 4 inches as well. We want to kind of wax nostalgic with you, take you back to 1960. We had a pretty similar pattern. We had that upper low over Virginia. We also had that split flow grabbing some of that tropical moisture. In 1995, we have a similar pattern. Now that split flow grabs that moisture out of the subtropics and throws it into the equation, and that upper low is helping to bring that snow to New York. Now the low developed on the coast around North Carolina back in 1960, brought lots of snowfall to Washington, D.C. For all you old-timers, you remember the Giants were playing the Washington Redskins back then in a very critical football game. Charlie Connerly at the helm for the Giants, Tom Moore tells me. That storm track was a little bit closer to the coast. This time around the track a little farther out, and because of that, I don't think the snow is going to be quite as heavy. Not in Washington, that's for sure, but even Philadelphia, 4 to maybe 5 inches. New York City, 8 to maybe 10 or 11 inches. Boston, your jury is still out. You could still get socked pretty good. This is what happened back in 1960, 35 years ago, 20 inches around Newark, out there in the Watchung Range west of the city, and locally 20 as well in Bucks County north of Philadelphia. This go around looks like the maybe the Delaware Water Gap, northwestern Connecticut, and around Worcester, Mass. Those hills outside of Boston could grab as much as 15 to maybe 18 inches. Around New York, locally could be about 10. Hartford, Providence, and Boston about the same. The good news is Baltimore escaping most of the heavy accumulation. There is a lot of ice on the trees and the power lines here. Washington, D.C., the same holds true north and west, so use caution up and down the entire northeastern corridor tonight and again tomorrow morning. I'm sure for the shoppers, the retailers are not too happy, as that snow is going to definitely crimp your style for a couple more days. Now for more on the storm, here's Christina.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Let's take a look at our big radar picture here, and here's what we're looking at. Rather a widespread area of actually snow and freezing rain, and even a little farther to the south we're dealing with just plain rain. But nevertheless, here in the northeast, this is where we're dealing with a real mess here. Quite an active situation setting up. Let's first head to the Ohio Valley and see what's going on here. We're still dealing with snow here in Ohio from Cleveland southward back to really east of Cincinnati. And again, Cleveland is under still blizzard warning, and we're still dealing with the snow here in the eastern parts of the state. Head back into West Virginia, you're seeing snow, and then head a little farther to the south and it turns over to rain. Now farther to the east, again, here's our widespread area of snow and freezing rain in some cases. As we take a look at Boston, you have just seen snow starting within the past couple of hours, and you could actually be seeing some near blizzard conditions later on tonight. Snowing in Hartford, snowing in Albany, and we're also looking at snow, of course, as we head into New York City, where you have heavy snow warning in effect. Let's take a closer look at what's going on here. Again, we're looking at some of the heaviest amounts of snow falling now in northern New Jersey, but head towards Trenton, and you're actually looking at some freezing rain here, but snowing in New York, snowing up towards White Plains, and again, as we head a little farther to the south, head to Baltimore, Washington, D.C., actually you're looking at some freezing drizzle here. So very active weather, but this isn't the only place we've seen some active weather. Today, we've actually seen active weather in some other areas, including Springfield, Missouri, where traffic suffered this morning in that city as the storm system moved through the